Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How's everyone doing? We are closing in the last few nights of Ramadan. We are at the finish line, so this is not where we slow down, but rather speed up, meaning uh, get more energy, um, increase in ibadah, and make it across that finish line, doing the best we can, inshallah. So tonight, we finished in our Quranic recitation, we finished Surah Al-Ankabut, Surah Al-Rum, and Surah Al-Luqman. And then tomorrow we will continue from Surah Al-Ahzab, inshallah. As far as our hadith, as you know, we are now at hadith number 22. So let's put it up on the screen for you guys. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned, قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم سيد القوم في السفر خادمهم. On a journey, the leader of the group is their servant. Here in Arabic, Sayyid is the leader. So if you were to literally translate it word for word, it would be leader of the group in a journey, or in the journey, is their servant. Recorded by Ibn Majah. So this is a very phenomenal hadith, and it kind of gives you a glimpse of what a leader in Islam should be. It's not someone who simply gives orders and tells people what to do and sits on his throne, if you want to call it, or his chair, and simply points here and there. But rather, yes, a leader does give direction, but at the same time, he cares for the well-being of his flock. He cares for the well-being of those under him or her. So um, it's very important that you look out for the welfare of everyone underneath you. We all can be leaders in different situations. Our Prophet ﷺ mentioned in a very important hadith, something to remember as well. It's a long hadith. I didn't choose this one for the challenge, or you guys might have thought I was making it too difficult. So the hadith goes like this. The Prophet ﷺ said, "Ala kullukum ra'in." Each one of you is a shepherd. Wa kullukum mas'ulun an ra'iyati. And every single one of you will be responsible for his or her flock. And then he went on to say, فَالْإِمَامُ الَّذِي عَلَى النَّاسِ رَاعٍ وَهُوَ مَسْئُولٌ عَنْ رَعِيَّتِهِ. Then he gave an example that an imam, the leader of people, is a guardian and is responsible for his subjects. If you're an imam, you don't just simply lead the prayer and you give the khutbah and say bye-bye. This is not Hollywood, where you make an appearance and leave, but rather you are engaged with your community, and that's really, the purpose of an imam. It's not simply to disseminate the knowledge, but you develop a relationship with your community, and you make sure that they're on the straight path and that their needs are being taken care of. It's not an easy job, obviously. There's a lot to look after, but it's more than just giving a lecture and then leaving the building. The lecture is just one aspect of it, and the harder part is actually dealing one on one with people or with groups of people to solve their issues and to make sure that they're doing things according to Islam, and also just simply solving disputes and bringing people up that are down. You remember, a community is very very vast, every community, and it's diversified. People have different issues. Some people have psychological issues. Some people have marriage issues. Some people have issues with their kids. So you got to be able to tackle all these issues, and that's where you go in and do the hard work, and you help these families out, make sure that their houses and their lives are stable, inshallah, to the best of your ability, of course. Um, Prophet ﷺ goes on, he says, وَالرَّجُلُ رَاعٍ عَلَى أَهْلِ بَيْتِ وَهُوَ مَسْئُولٌ عَنْ رَعِيَّتِهِ. And a man is responsible for his family. He's the guardian of his family, and he will be asked about his flock. He will be responsible for them. So meaning the husband here, or the father, of a family, uh, the responsibility is on your shoulders to take care of everyone financially, number one. But also, it doesn't just stop at financially. You, as a father, also are responsible for representing a good example of a practicing Muslim. If you're simply a father that goes and makes a living and comes home and never prays or never teaches your kids Islam when you have the time to at home, when you're at home with them, if you neglect them, and all you do is bring food on the table, jazakallah for bringing the food on the table, but that is not your complete job. That's an incomplete job. You have another big job, and that is to be a good role model for them and teach them Islam. And remember, a father is a figure like the mother that kids will never forget. So if you're never there for them, then what will they take from you? Just someone who went to work every day, which is an honorable thing to do, by the way, don't get me wrong, but there is a whole other aspect of fatherhood that we should not neglect, and that is spending time with your kids, getting to know them. Because I'll tell you what will happen if you keep yourself busy just earning money, and you don't spend time with them, you don't try to understand them, grow up with them, then there'll come a time when they'll get older and there'll be a big disconnect. And you may want them to do something, but they may not want to do it because you were never really there for them and you never developed that relationship. And, they had their influences from others instead of you. So make sure you spend time. I know you're busy with work, everyone, but your family is also important and you need to spend time with them, especially teach them lessons in life, how to be a good person in life. You can send them to Islamic school, you can send them to a sheikh, and you should do all these things. But if you don't have it at home, then all that, to some extent, will become irrelevant because they'll see or they'll hear about Islam in one environment and they come home and they see no Islam. That doesn't work. It's a recipe for failure. In fact, in some cases, they may even see hypocrisy and it'll take them even further away from the deen. So send them to Islamic school, Islamic classes, whatever the case may be, to imams, to shuyukh, to learn, our scholars. But make sure you follow up in the house. That's not enough. You simply send them and then act like someone else at home, or just not be there at all at home. Um, teach them as much of Islam as you can, whatever you know, whatever knowledge you have. Make sure you pass that on to them. You want something to come from you as well. Good manners. These are things we all could teach them. Basic things about the prayer, about adhan, basic things about the sunnah. Whatever, everyone has different levels of knowledge. Whatever Allah has blessed you with, you make sure you pass it on, inshallah. Our Prophet ﷺ went on, and now he talks about also the woman. He says, وَالْمَرْأَةُ راعية على أهل بيت زوجها وولده وهي مسؤولة عنهم. And then he says that the woman is the guardian of her husband's home and his children, and she is responsible for them. So the woman even has almost a bigger responsibility in terms of inside the house. She's not required to provide. If she does, alhamdulillah, but that is the man's responsibility. But she has a huge responsibility at home to protect the household of her husband, its honor, and also care for the kids and teach them Islam. Before any Islamic school or any imam, the first madrasa, the first Islamic school a child will experience is in the lap of the mother. It's in the company of his or her mother. So mothers are essential in raising children, giving them a good upbringing, with tarbiyah, tazkiyah. It comes from mom first, because dad is typically outside working, and of course he will also come and teach, but they spend more time with the mom. So mothers have a huge role, and this is your responsibility. You are the leader when dad is outside the house. The kids look up to you. So that's when you, have to do your best to be a good role model. And it's hard, of course. Mothers have a very tough job. They don't get any rest. But perhaps that is also why they have such a high status in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned that Jannah lies under the feet of our mothers, meaning, if we're obedient to them, we treat them well, um, your path towards paradise will become very easy. It will become basically given to you in that sense, if you take care of your moms. So, um, they have a great status in Islam. In fact, our Prophet ﷺ was once asked, "Who should I take as my companion?" And he replied, a companion asked the Prophet ﷺ, and he replied, "Your mother." Then he asked him again, he said, "Your mother." He asked him a third time, he said, "Your mother," and then the fourth time, "Your father." Meaning, how close is the child to the mother? Almost three times is more, you know, if you want to do math here, than the father. You don't have to use a multiplication, or example, or a mathematical example, but the point is, mothers are very close to their kids, and the Prophet ﷺ emphasized being close to them. So they have a big responsibility, and then we, as children, for our mothers, have a responsibility to make their job as easy as possible by listening to them, respecting them, and taking care of them, help them around the house. Your mom shouldn't be doing everything. It really annoys me when kids, they pass everything on to their mom. Mom will clean the dishes, mom will do the clothes, mom will clean the house without the kids helping out anywhere. This should not happen. You guys have to take some responsibility, some chores in the house, and do things to help your mother. It's not acceptable that she does all of this. She's not your maid at home. Even though they act like them, they do so much for us. But you gotta give them a hand, and not just on Mother's Day or once a year. Do it regularly. Take some things under your control, under your responsibility, and make sure they get done. And don't rely on mom to do everything, or just simply depend on mom to do everything. You need to build some responsibility for yourself. But nevertheless, the hadith here is referring to the mother being responsible for the flock, teaching them Islam, teaching them to be a good person in life, of course, through the guidance of the Quran and Sunnah, good characteristics of a human being, and so forth. This all starts with mom. The next thing the Prophet ﷺ mentioned, and he goes on to say, and this may not be as applicable today, actually at all, because it's been pretty much eradicated on earth, maybe the exception of some places in some third world countries. But he mentions, وَعَبْدُ الرَّجُلِ رَاعٍ عَلَى مَالِ سَيِّدِهِ وَهُوَ مَسْئُولٌ عَنْهُ. And the servant of a man is a shepherd or responsible for the wealth or property of his master. Yeah, as you know, slavery has been abolished, alhamdulillah, in the world today, but it was actually through the efforts of Islam that made a huge impact as well. Islam didn't come out and say, with a blank statement, no slavery, absolutely stop. It would have created a shock in the world during that time. But rather, what was done was ways of encouraging people. Look, if you free a slave, you will get this reward. You do this, you will get this reward. Freeing a slave, inshallah, will lead to paradise and so forth. So lots of encouraging things to get rid of it. And eventually, people went on and did that. And then, alhamdulillah, today it's pretty much, you can say, for the most part, it's been eradicated on earth. But Islam did it with wisdom. If they were to, if it was revealed during that time to completely stop, people would not have stopped. It was built into the system of the world at that time at a very high, level, to a very extreme extent that it would have caused shock waves if it were to happen. So, through Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's wisdom, He, you know, through the Quran and the Sunnah, encouraged people to get rid of this practice. And alhamdulillah, they did. Alhamdulillah. So, and then at the end of the hadith, the Prophet ﷺ then mentions, just reminds everyone, ألا فكلكم راع وكلكم مسؤول عن رعيته. And he ends the hadith with what he essentially started the hadith with. And he says, every one of you is a shepherd and is responsible for his flock. So, as a leader, um, you know, and by the way, as we mentioned all those examples, there's other ways where you might fall into a role of leadership. Could be at work, could be at school, could be within a group or a class that you're in, whatever it may be. Just remember the qualities of a leader. It's not to boss people around only. No, that is not the role of the leader, just to boss people around. Yes, you are there to give direction. You're there to listen, to take feedback, and then make the best decision. With all the input that you have. But also you're looking out for the well-being of everyone, and that's what we should never forget. Sayyidul Qawmi fi safari khadimuhum. In another hadith, Sayyidul Qawmi khadimuhum. That a leader of people is their servant. You know, Umar radiallahu anh, he understood this at another level. He would not. It would be hard for him to sleep knowing that someone was struggling. He would personally take it upon himself if he saw someone suffering or not having food to eat and so forth. Compare it to the leaders of today, just in the Muslim world. Na'udhu billah. These guys, you know, I've seen toilets of gold, palaces that you can never even, build here in America. You'll find over there servants. They'll have multiple wives, even more than that, which is allowed. Um, and they'll squander wealth on things ridiculous items, hundreds of millions on paintings, you know, gold plate their cars, silver plate their cars, things of this nature. Um, and then they have people suffering and hungry and thirsty on their streets. That is not a true leader. Do you think if Umar radiallahu anh was alive today, or someone had the qualities of him today, he would allow Muslims to suffer the way they are? How can they sleep in palaces knowing that they have thousands upon thousands, in millions in some cases, starving, and you can live in an absolute kingdom? Where is the belief? Where is the iman of these people? May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide them, and may He give them the qualities of our righteous predecessors. We can only make dua for them, and we can also, within our own scope, try to be the best leaders we can be. Because even amongst ourselves, we have a lot of problems. And because of the way we treat ourselves, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put those types of leaders on top of us. So if we change our condition, it's inevitable that those leading us will also change as well. But it starts from us. So, whatever position of leadership you are in, make sure you are doing the best you could do, that you are fair to everyone, and that you are looking out for the good of everyone, everyone's welfare. And make sure you serve them as well, not just give orders. Uh, Go down and do the hard work if you have to sometimes. It's not easy being a leader, but if you're in that position, it requires some extra effort, extra care on your part. So may Allah make it easy upon all of us whenever we fall into those positions. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. So with that, we'll conclude the hadith session, and then, as we always do, um, let's do a quick recap. This is your way of reviewing all of the hadith. So I have the list of everyone who registered. I have about 30 people that registered. So what we're gonna do on May 20, let's see here, May 23rd, a Saturday. Remember, Eid is on Sunday, the 24th. We will have our competition, and I will be sending an email out with instructions on how we're going to arrange this. Goal is to do it in the masjid, but with small groups, under social distancing guidelines. And I'll give everyone like a time slot where they can come in and finish, um, their session, recite, inshallah, all 30 hadith. Um, and then later that evening, before Maghrib, we will announce all the winners, inshallah. Hopefully, winners. Not, I don't want to just have a winner. I want winners, inshallah. I want, if not many of you, all of you, to memorize all 30 hadith, inshallah. So we'll send out instructions via email, and I'll let you know when they will be sent. But they will be sent sometime in the next few days, inshallah. طيب. Also, for the Eid prayer, we have a plan, um, and once it is finalized, we propose something. Once it's finalized, we'll send you instructions on that as well of how we'll do it. The idea right now is to maybe live stream the Eid prayer from the masjid, and then you guys would pray the Eid prayer at home, and then listen to the khutbah virtually after. That would be the goal. And also we'll have the takbirat virtually as well. Obviously, we're not going to have everyone at the masjid. It'll be probably just a few people so that we have enough for our jama'ah and that we could live stream it for you guys. So, but anyway, look out for details on that as well. Hadith number 1. Ad-Deen nasiha. The religion is sincerity, recorded by Imam Muslim. Hadith number 2. Ad-Du'a mukhul ibadah. Supplication is the essence of worship. Rawahu Tirmidhi. Hadith number 3. Al-mar'u ma'a man ahabba. A person will be with whom he loves. Recorded by Imam Bukhari and Muslim. Hadith number 4. حُبُّكَ الشَّيْءَ يُعْمِي وَيُصِمُّ. Your love of something may render you blind and deaf. Rawahu Abu Dawood. Hadith number 5. Al-anatu min Allahi wal-ajalatu min ash-shaytan. Calmness is from Allah and haste is from shaitan. Rawahu Tirmidhi. Hadith number 6. Al-haya'u la ya'ti illa bi khair. Modesty does not bring anything but goodness. Recorded by Imam Bukhari. Hadith number 7. At-tuhuru shatrul iman. Purity is half of faith. Recorded by Imam Muslim. Hadith number 8. Al-khamru jumma'ul ithm. Alcohol constitutes many sins. Rawahu Razin. Hadith number 9. Inna Allah jamilun yuhibbul jamal. Allah is beautiful. He loves beauty. Recorded by Imam Muslim. Hadith number 10. La darara wa la dirar. Do not cause harm or return harm. Recorded by Ibn Majah. Hadith number 11. Man samata najah. Whoever is quiet has been saved. Rawahu Tirmidhi. Hadith number 12. La taghdab. Do not be angry. Recorded by Imam Bukhari. Hadith number 13. Anzilu nasa manazilahum. Treat people according to their status. Rawahu Abu Dawood. Hadith number 14. Man lam yashkur nas lam yashkurillah. He who does not thank people does not thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Rawahu Tirmidhi. Hadith number 15. Inna dhulma dhulumatun yawm al-qiyamah. Verily oppression will be darkness on the day of judgment. Recorded by Imam Bukhari. Hadith number 16. يسروا ولا تعسروا وسكنوا ولا تنفروا. Make things easy for people, do not make them difficult. And make them calm with glad tidings and do not repulse them. Rawahu Bukhari. Hadith number 17. لُعِنَ عَبْدُ الدِّينَارِ وَلُعِنَ عَبْدُ الدِّرْهَمِ. Accursed is the slave of the dinar and the slave of the dirham, meaning money. رواه الترمذي. Hadith number 18. من غشنا فليس منا. Whoever deceives us is not from us. Recorded by Imam Muslim. Hadith number 19. إن من البيان لسحرا. Verily, in speech there is magic. Recorded by Imam Bukhari. Hadith number 20. إن من الشعر حكمة. شعري. Remember, it's not sha'ri. Look out. That kasra is underneath the shadda, so it's recited the kasra. It's not a shadda. It's not a fatha. Okay. Inna min ash-shi'ri hikmah, and verily in poetry is wisdom, recorded by Imam Bukhari. Hadith number 21 from yesterday. Al-majalisu bil-amana. Gatherings are to be kept with confidence or kept confidential with amana, with trust. Recorded by Imam Abu Dawood. And today's hadith number 22. Sayyidul qawmi fi safari khadimuhum. On a journey, the leader of a group is their servant. Recorded by Imam Ibn Majah. And for tonight's dua, we'll do the same one that we learned yesterday, as we should be saying this dua, inshallah, throughout these last 10 nights. Subhanallah bihamdihi, subhanallah al-azim. اللهم إنك عفو تحب العفو فاعف عنا. اللهم إنك عفو تحب العفو فاعف عنا. اللهم إنك عفو تحب العفو فاعف عنا يا ذا الجلال والإكرام. وصل اللهم على نبينا وحبيبنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه والتابعين. So tomorrow, inshallah, we'll learn a new dua, and we will continue with hadith number 23. جزاكم الله خيرا والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.